When you choose humility over pride, God lifts you higher than you could ever lift yourself. And this truth is a foundation of faith, a reality that shapes the life of every believer who seeks closeness to God. Because pride is the disease of the soul that blinds a person to their own limitations, while humility is the cure that opens the heart to divine wisdom and mercy. But the proud man thinks he is self-sufficient, believing that his strength, his wealth, his knowledge, or his position defines his worth. But the humble man knows that everything he has is a gift from God. And because of that awareness, he does not walk with arrogance, nor does he belittle others. Rather, he treats people with kindness, respect, and justice. Knowing that in the eyes of God, all human beings are his servants, and no one is inherently greater than another, except by piety and righteousness. And when a believer embraces humility, he aligns himself with the very qualities that God loves. Because God resists the proud, he turns away from those whose hearts are hardened by arrogance, but he pours his favor, his blessings, and his guidance upon those who bow their heads in humility before him. And this is the secret of true greatness, not the greatness defined by worldly success, wealth, or applause, but the greatness that is eternal, the greatness that secures peace in this world and eternal reward in the hereafter, because the humble person is free from the chains of ego, and when he bows low before God, God raises him to heights that pride could never reach, heights of spiritual strength, inner peace, and divine approval. And this is why the prophets, the chosen servants of God, were the most humble of all people, despite being leaders, teachers, and reformers of humanity, because they never claimed greatness for themselves, but directed all praise and honor to God alone. And their humility became the very reason God elevated them, spreading their message across generations, honoring their names throughout history, and granting them eternal glory in his presence. And for us as believers, this is a lesson that cannot be ignored. But look down upon others, to seek recognition, or to claim that our achievements are by our own power. We must remember that pride is the trait that destroyed the one who refused to bow when God commanded, and humility is the trait that saved those who submitted with sincerity. And so the believer who desires to be lifted by God must train his soul to bow in humility in every aspect of life, in prayer, in people, and even in private moments where no one else can see, because true humility is not for display. It is not false modesty. It is the recognition deep in the heart that without God we are nothing, and with God we have everything. And this recognition transforms how we live, patient instead of restless, forgiving instead of vengeful, and generous instead of selfish. And this is the path to real strength, because humility does not make a person weak. It makes him unshakable, because he does not depend on the fragile approval of people. He depends on the eternal support of God. And when God supports you, no force in creation can bring you down. But when pride blinds you and God withdraws his support, no wealth, no power, no allies can save you. And so, brothers and sisters, understand that choosing humility is choosing the company of God's mercy, and rejecting pride is rejecting the path of destruction. For history is full of nations and individuals who destroyed because of arrogance, because they thought their might would protect them, but God humbled them to show that no one is above his will. And history is also full of people who were lowly in the eyes of the world, unknown, poor, or weak, yet because of their humility and sincerity, God raised them, gave them honor, and placed their names in the hearts of the righteous. And this is why you must never think humility will cause you to lose anything, for whatever you give up in pride, God replaces it with greater blessings, and whatever heights you try to climb through arrogance will crumble beneath your feet. But when you bow to God, he makes the earth itself a platform to raise you higher, and the heavens themselves bear witness to your worth. And in every moment of life, you will face this choice: to live with pride or to live with humility. Because when you choose pride, you close the doors of mercy upon yourself. But when you choose humility, you open every door to God's favor. And the higher you bow in submission, in dignity, and in everlasting greatness,